Hey, what's going on, guys? It is Zero Gravity Gaming here. Welcome to another video. Today we are going to be going over the schedule for Season 2 of the NROL Aquafina Cup Series. Next season it will be renamed to what you can see on the screen right now, the Aquafina NROL Cup Series. So, let's get right into it. So, here is race number 1. Well, it is part of Speed Weeks. It is the Advanced Auto Parts Clash at Daytona. So like I explained, how it's going to work is I'm just going to show you the number of the car. This is the number 0 car. And yes, so I'm showing you the number of the car, and that is what race number it is. So, here we are for the second Daytona 1 race. It is the Exalted Duels at Daytona. How this is going to work is the first 20 cars in the roster are going to be in Duel 1. The next 20 cars in the roster are going to be in Duel 2. So each race, each duel will be 24 laps. The clash will be, well, 24 laps is 15%. 15% race at Daytona. So the clash will be a 25% race. The Daytona 500, all regular season races and chase races will be 35% races. So that is how it is going to be. So for the first race of the season, we head to Daytona for the Daytona 500. Race number 1. 35% race, 40 cars will be in the field, so 40 cars will be in every race. So, this will be an interesting race here, and we will see who takes home the checkered flag for the first race of the season. So, for the second race of the season, we head to Atlanta for the Aaron's 500. It will be, once again, a 35% race. I want to tell you all the info for the race. Full pace lap will be enabled. Yellow flags, double file restart. The AI difficulty will vary depending what track it is. Super speedways, 110%. Adaptive speed control will always be enabled. So 110% for super speedways. For speedways like Atlanta, Texas, Charlotte, like those tracks, they will be at 94%. For 1 mile, like ovals, it'll be at 90%. And for short tracks, it'll be 87%. So here we are for the third race, which is the T-Mobile 400 at Las Vegas. One thing I forgot to say is about the race settings. Simulation mode will be used. Simulation mode will be used. Quick race will always be enabled. The pit stop frequency is at 2x, and realistic weather is going to be enabled. So yeah, the T-Mobile 400 at Las Vegas. So the fourth race of the season will be held at Phoenix International Raceway, and it will be the Discount Tire 500. Once again, 35% races, and Phoenix is always an interesting racetrack here in the Aquafina Cup Series, but sometimes it can be rather boring when there's absolutely no passing happening at all. But hopefully that's not the case, and hopefully we'll have passing. So yeah, it's the Discount Tire 500 at Phoenix. Fifth race of the season, we head to Auto Club for the Auto Club 400. A long race. You can see that right now they are 4 wide entering the corner. So a lot of action will be happening here at Auto Club. Let's hope these AI don't wreck while I'm doing this. But yeah, so the Auto Club 400 at Auto Club. Oh, there's contact. Let's see, are they gonna wreck? Oh, there they go. Caution comes out. Race number 6 takes us to the Paperclip, the Junkyard, the land of the beat-up race cars, Martinsville Speedway, hosting the Tums 500. So, for this track, because if you have the AI difficulty way too high, like even 80% is too high, they crash every lap. So for this race only, I will have to do a couple test races to see anywhere from 70 to 75 AI percent difficulty. So yeah, the Tums 500 at Martinsville, 6th race of the season. The 7th race of the season takes us to Texas Motor Speedway for the running of the Eris 500. Texas Motor Speedway just had a repave, not replay, and I managed to find a Texas 2017 track version. You can see that the splitters go into the ground just a little bit off the corners, but who cares? It's Texas 2017, and everything's bigger in Texas. So, if you would like this track, I will put the link in the description. Also for Atlanta 2017. There are a couple 2017 tracks that I have, but I'll just need to give credit just for the 2017 Texas for this track, because it is actually for an online league that I don't run in, but they put this track in their downloads, so that's why I have it. So Eris 500 at Texas, not a night race though. It will be in the day. The 8th race of the season takes us to Bristol Motor Speedway for the Dollar General 500. The car you are looking at right now will be in Season 2 of the Aquafina Cup Series. There are a few, I think there's one other car in this roster that I'm using right now that will be in Season 2. So, like I said, for every race, 35% race. The only track that won't have 2x tire wear and fuel is Texas, because the pit road is screwed up. So if pit stops happen under green, they're just going to keep pitting for the rest of the race, and we don't want that. So I actually figured out how to disable pit stops so that, the caution's out, so that they won't have to pit. So yeah, Dollar General 500 at Bristol, 8th race of the season. The 9th race of the season takes us to Richmond International Raceway, now known as Richmond Raceway, for the running of the One Main Financial 400. This race will have 2x pit stop frequency and a lot of action. So, yeah, One Main Financial 400 at Richmond, 9th race of the season. The 10th race of the season takes us to Talladega Superspeedway for the running of the Geico 500. It'll probably be one of the longest races in the season. Same settings for the race, and hopefully very interesting 3 and 4 wide pack racing. So, 10th race of the season, Geico 500 at Talladega. The 11th race of the season takes us to Kansas Speedway for the running of the Cessna 400. So, like every race, it is a 35% race, 2x pit frequency, except for Texas. But, yeah, the Cessna 400 at Kansas. Just so you know, from now on, I'm just going to say the race name and what track it's at. Just so that I can get this going a little bit quicker. The 12th race of the season takes us to Charlotte for the Coca-Cola 600. This race will be different. This will be a 40% race, since it is the longest race in the NASCAR Cup season. So yeah, 40% race here. I will keep everything else the same though. So, Coca-Cola 600 at Charlotte. The 13th race of the season takes us to Dover International Speedway for the running of the DuPont 400. So, DuPont 400 at Dover, 13th race of the season. The 14th race of the season takes us to Pocono Raceway for the running of the Wells Fargo 400. This is also a track from an online league. So if you'd like this track, I can put the link in the description. Wait, I might not be able to do that because I'll have to ask the league admin, because this is the league owner. This is Pocono 2015. It's an update. So yeah, I'll have to ask if I can put this in the description. If not, you might just have to wait until a newer version of Pocono comes out. But yeah, so Wells Fargo 400 at Pocono. The 15th race of the season takes us to Michigan International Speedway for the running of the Cooper Standard 400. This track here, also from a league, Michigan 2016, is this track. So, if you'd like to download these tracks from the online leagues that I'm in, because there will be tracks that I will be using from online leagues, I will have to ask the league owners if I'm allowed to put the links in the description. But other than that, Wells Fargo 400 at Michigan, 15th race, or not Wells Fargo 400, excuse me, Cooper Standard 400 at Michigan, 15th race of the season. The 16th race of the season takes us to Sonoma Raceway for the running of the Adobe Systems 350. What I want to tell you first, I know I went through the AI strength already, but I want to just go through it again. So super speedway 110%, but for Michigan it has to be 70%. Otherwise, the cars just keep hitting the wall, and then there's nothing. Whoa, they're 3 wide. Speedways, 94%, like I said already. Short tracks, 87%. Martinsville will be at 70% for both races. And when we get to the other one, that has an exception, that has to be 82%. I'll get to that once we go to that track. Then road courses, 70% for Sonoma, and then 85% for Watkins Glen. The ratings, I didn't do yet. For Super Speedway, the ratings will be 100 and 100. For Speedway, they will be 80 and 100. For short tracks, they will be 40 and 60. And then for road courses, they will be 35 and 55. So, the Adobe Systems 350 at Sonoma. The 17th race of the season brings us back to Daytona for the running of the Coca-Cola Freestyle 400. So this race will be run at nighttime. If there's rain in the area, we will run it in the daytime. But let's just hope that there isn't rain in the area so that we can run this race at night, because we always love seeing Daytona under the lights, especially with all these cool patriotic paint schemes that there will be. So yeah, Coca-Cola Freestyle 400 at Daytona. The 18th race of the season takes us to Kentucky Speedway for the running of the Microsoft 400. This race will gradually get darker as we go. So we will start under the sunlight. We will end under the lights of the racetrack. So Microsoft 400 at Kentucky Speedway, race number 18. Race number 19 takes us to New Hampshire Motor Speedway for the running of the Lennox Industrial Tools 301. We will not be returning to New Hampshire later in the season. You will see where we will be going to instead of New Hampshire in a little bit. So just continue watching this video and you will find out. So the Lennox Industrial Tools 301 at New Hampshire. The 20th race of the season takes us to Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the running of the Brickyard 400. Season number 1's Brickyard 400 winner was the driver of the number 44 this season, Zachary Fitzwater, after pulling off a last lap pass in turns 3 and 4. The race finished under caution. They were racing back to the line. So the last green flag lap run was with 2 to go. So that's why I said last lap pass, because you can't really pass them under caution. So the Brickyard 400 at Indianapolis, 20th race of the season. The 21st race of the season heads back to Pocono Raceway for the running of the Comcast Thor 100 as they have a wreck in turn 1. Okay, so now they have to race back to the line. So the Comcast 400 held at Pocono Raceway. I wonder if Joe's going to go to the races. Some of you might not understand why I said that, but it's fine. So yeah, Comcast 400 at Pocono. The 22nd race of the season heads to the short dirt oval in Rossburg, Ohio, Eldora Speedway. So, how this is going to work, this will be a non-points race, so you cannot get points from this race. If you win this race, you are not walked into the chase. We're going to run this race in 2 different heats, 2 heats of 20 cars. The top 15 from each heat advance. So, in total, 10 cars will not race in the main event. So yeah, 2 heats of 15 cars. 2 heats of 20 cars, 15 advance, 5 go home. From each heat, I'm saying. So, this race is called the Kroger Dirt Derby at Eldora. So, this race should be pretty exciting and pretty interesting for a lot of you guys to watch. The 23rd race of the season takes us back to Michigan International Speedway for the running of the Kellogg's 400. So, we're going from a short half-mile dirt oval to a huge 2-mile super speedway, basically. I know it's not known as Michigan International Super Speedway, but it has the length of a super speedway. Of course, you have to get off of the gas in the corners, whereas at Daytona and Talladega, you don't usually have to. You can stay in the throttle. So, yeah, whoa, 35 falling way back. So, yeah, the Kellogg's 400 at Michigan. Whoa, the 36 got loose up the corner, and now everybody's in the wall. Ah! The 24th race of the season takes us back to Bristol Motor Speedway for the running of the FedEx Night Race. So, starting under the lights, finishing under the lights as well. So yeah, FedEx Night Race at Bristol. The 25th race of the Aquafina Cup Series season takes us to Darlington Raceway for the running of the Denny's Southern 500. Whoa, slow car, that's the 16. Really slow on the inside. But yeah, anyways. So yeah, Denny's Southern 500 at Darlington, 25th race of the season. Second to last race before the regular season ends. The last race of the regular season takes these drivers to Richmond Raceway for the running of the Capital One Thor 100. So, if you are not locked into the chase yet, this is literally your last chance to try and get in. And if you don't make it into the chase, it's almost like you don't exist, because we're basically all focused on the chase drivers. But don't worry, this isn't like real life where it's just NASCAR focusing on the chase drivers only. I'll be focusing on the drivers that aren't in the chase as well. So if you don't make the chase, don't worry about it. If you do make the chase, congratulations. The 27th race and the first race of the chase brings us to Chicagoland Speedway for the running of the McDonald's Thor 100. So 16 drivers would be entering the chase. And at the end of the round of this round of the chase, there would be 12 remaining. So, the McDonald's 400 at Chicagoland. The 28th race and the second race of the chase brings us to Gateway for the running of the Sylvania 300. Also, one note, I made a mistake. There is no Watkins Glen race. The Watkins Glen race was replaced by Eldora. So no Watkins Glen race. So we only go to one road course this season. So this race, the Sylvania 300 at Gateway, the 28th race of the season. The Aquafina Cup Series drivers return to Dover for the running of the AAA 400. It is a 35% race, like I've said. 2x pit stops, yada yada yada. All that stuff, and yeah. So, AAA 400 at Dover. Oh, and this is the last race of the round of 16. This car right here, the 29, and also the 25 car back there, will be in the Aquafina Cup Series Season 2. I'll show you. It's this car right here that will be in the series. The 30th race and race number 1 of the round of 12 for the Aquafina Cup Series brings us to Charlotte for the running of the Stunted Racing 500. So that's the Stunted Racing 500 at Charlotte. The 31st race of Season 2 of the Aquafina Cup Series takes us back to Talladega for the running of the Sirius XM 500, the second race of the round of 12 in the chase. The 32nd race and the last race of the round of 12 brings us to Kansas Speedway, for the running of the Garmin 400. So, after this race, we move on to the round of 8. The 33rd race of the Aquafina Cup Series season brings us back to Martinsville for the running of the Subway 500 and also to kick off the round of 8. So the Subway 500 at Martinsville. The 34th race of the Aquafina Cup Series season takes us back to Texas for the running of the Pizza Hut 500. And I forgot to mention, if you win at any of the tracks, if a chase driver wins a race at any of these at any of the round of 8 tracks, they are automatically locked into the next round and are going to compete for a championship. If a chase driver wins 2 or sweeps the round, then the next highest finishing chaser would advance. Oh, sorry. If a chase driver has won, let's say they won the first race, and then they win this race. So they win Martinsville in this race, then the next 3 highest finishing, or the 4 highest finishing chase drivers for the next race would, 3 highest finishing chase drivers for the next race would advance. Oh, I cannot talk today. But yeah, Pizza Hut 500 at Texas. The final race of the round of 8, race number 35 for the Aquafina Cup Series season, brings us to Phoenix for the running of the Lucas Oil 500. This is the last race of the round of 8. So the next race is the championship race. The 36th and final race of the Aquafina Cup Series season brings us to Homestead for the Toyota 400. The highest finishing chase driver at the end of this race wins the championship. So, like I said, the Toyota 400 at Homestead. So, yeah, that rounds up the schedule. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.